What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate reverse rants. No hate. So, salute to Isaac Pitbull Cruz. Did what he had to do. Disposed of the guy early. And, of course, he called out Tank Davis for the rematch. And he was asked if he doesn't get Tank, who does he want? And he said Devin Haney. Well, why not shoot for the top? Gotta respect that. Now, the guy he fought was coming up from 130. He was a small guy. It was a mismatch. He had no answers for anything that, Isaac Cruz had. We've seen Pitbull fight, so we know what he can do. Um, and of course, this was a pro Mexican crowd over here in LA, and they pretty much was excited, that they're giving it up for, Isaac Cruz. And he earned a victory, got the stoppage, and that's what matters. Now, as far as him fighting Tank Davis, well, you should want to fight the guy that beat you. Because okay, he got me. Now I'm going to get him in a rematch. That's how it should be. The fight itself doesn't want a rematch. I'm not big on rematches. Some rematches, yeah, because I feel like, okay, that fight, I can see a rematch. As far as him and Tank, now he says he don't believe his hand story and whatever. None of that matters. He won. It's not like he lost the fight and then said, oh, it's because of my hand. Even regardless, he won. And he won convincingly. It's just that Tank fought differently from the way we're used to seeing him fight. But then everybody realized, damn, so he can fight on the back foot if he has to. Um, I remember the video where him and Pitbull were back there embracing, taking pictures, and Tank took off his glove and showed how swollen his hand was. So, even to say that he don't believe the hand story, well, I mean, that doesn't make a difference. The point he's trying to make is that, he just gave him a better fight than what he thought. Like he underestimated him or whatever. It doesn't matter. Like I said, Tank got the win. So, I mean, if Tank wants to take the fight, I wouldn't mind seeing it again. But I feel like, from what I'm, understanding, here's the thing with Tank. We want to see him and Ryan. Ryan's claiming he's going to 140, but he's calling out Tank at 140. And of course, he's trying to get a more comfortable advantage because he's a lot taller than Tank, and it will be more of his natural weight. He doesn't have to gain weight to fight at 140. He cuts weight to fight at 135. They all do. But at the same time, him being naturally bigger than Tank, he's just doing that to try to get the advantage. We know that. Now, whether that fight happens or not, we don't know. But for Tank, whether it's Ryan Garcia, if it's not Ryan Garcia or somebody else of that caliber, don't fight a lesser fighter than Isaac Cruz. Everybody's gonna have their opinion on who's who in boxing and whatever. But I mean, like, make sure whoever you decide to fight, if you're not gonna fight Cruz in a rematch, which, like I said, that fight didn't warrant a rematch. It did not warrant a rematch. It was a good fight, and it wasn't so much of a Tank Davis underestimating him. Tank Davis gave him his props and said he's a tough fighter. It's the fans who were saying, "Oh, they go Tank cherry picking this guy. Oh man, Isaac Cruz is, he's a bump." It was the fans who was saying that Isaac Cruz wasn't that good and that he was a cherry pick. Now all of a sudden everybody loves him. Now he's really the pit bull. Like, okay, so he was better than you guys thought he was. Well, at the end of the day, his profile, he's raised his profile. He's making some noise. And so, yeah, I would like to see Isaac Cruz against, any of the top guys. What I was thinking is that he probably should fight a guy like Rolly Romero. And it turns out that Tank Davis said the same thing. Now, I'm not saying he should fight him because Tank said it. Not at all. Tank has nothing to do with what I'm saying. Rolly Romero had a lot to say about Isaac Cruz, and so did so did what's his name? Damn, I just said his name. Ryan Garcia had a lot to say. Oh, he's too small. He's a midget. Oh, you know, Tank Davis he cherry picked all of this stuff, and this is why he was supposed to be out with mental health issues. And this is one of the things where he's chiming in to give his opinion in his little comments, whatever. But it's like, okay, um, you know, Isaac Cruz is trying to get championships. He wants to fight champions. Why he doesn't call out Ryan Garcia? Ryan Garcia doesn't hold a title. Okay, and even though Tank Davis holds a title that you don't need in order to be undisputed, so those titles are always considered. You know, people always say it doesn't mean nothing. It's not a title at all. But then if somebody they like wins that title, well, he's a champion too, type of situation. So he wants to fight Tank Davis, and we'll see if that happens or not. We know Devin Haney's locked in with Cambosa, so we know that that's not going to happen, not anytime soon. And if Ryan Garcia, are you going to fight somebody at 140 or just keep calling Tank's name out? And are you actually at 140 or not? So that might be off the table as far as Isaac Cruz versus Ryan Garcia. So we don't know, but he did what he had to do. Now, can't take nothing from his performance because he did what he was supposed to. But don't mistake the guy that he beat for Tank Davis or Ryan Garcia or Rolly Romero. Okay, I think him and Rolly, we in this fight, Rolly has something to prove. He pretty much said Isaac Cruz is easy work. So it's like, okay, you don't just get, I don't see how it's fair that you get beat, get knocked out, and then all of a sudden they all, I want nothing but big fights. Okay, but no, this is proving grounds. Let's see what you could do with Isaac Cruz. And if he's easy work, then take the fight. Or reach out to make a fight. Isaac Cruz didn't call him out. I mean, why would he call out Rolly Romero? He just got knocked out. But Rolly Romero, on the other hand, make some noise. That's the fight I like to see. I like to see what he could do against, Isaac Cruz, because these guys, they want to be elevated to the top spots without really being tested. And then when they lose, what Rolly Romero said when he lost was one of the saddest excuses I ever heard. I was controlling that fight. I won all 6 rounds. He just caught me with a good shot. That's all that happened. That's all that needed to happen. And as far as you winning all 6 rounds or whatever, okay. Yeah, whatever, you definitely won some of those rounds. But regardless, you got knocked out. You had no legs even after the fight was over. You walking down the steps and you had to hold on to his father, had his arm around. He was wobbling. He was walking to the back. Okay, took your legs away with one punch. And had your head all scrambled up. So that's boxing, man. But I would like to see Rolly Romero fight against Isaac Cruz. Start to earn and work your way up. And Isaac Cruz right now is hot. So if you beat him, that gives you some momentum right back. Because you talked a lot of stuff and then look at what happened. I feel like right now at 135 especially, they need for things to happen where it's like Devin Haney trying to call out everybody, trying to fight everybody. He's opening challenges to everybody. People are not calling out Devin Haney. They're all chasing the star of the division, which is Tank Davis. They're all calling his name out. Yet you got a guy that's undisputed, but y'all don't want to fight him. So Isaac Cruz mentioning Haney's name if he doesn't get Tank, but that's even the thing. He called Tank's name first, not Devin. But I understand he won his revenge. Cool. It's just amazing to me how people don't want to be undisputed though. Because if I had a chance to fight a guy with one belt or a guy that just has more star power than a guy that has all the belts, I guess it depends on the situation, but if you go and you beat Devin Haney, guess what? You are the champion. There's no he's one of, you have all the belts. Those belts, these diamond belts, all these little weirdo belts that they come up with that doesn't mean anything. Again, I guess depending on who holds the title, people try to acknowledge it or don't. You can't say it doesn't mean anything just because you don't need to be undisputed, but it means a lot less to have those particular titles because they don't make you a mandatory for anything. You don't have to have that title that Tank has to become a mandatory. And this is why. Here's what I'm looking at right now at 135. Right, if Devin Haney after this Kambosos fight, if Devin Haney doesn't have a mandatory, right, who do they try to make a fight with? That's what I'm interested to see. And I'm also, if someone does become the mandatory, who would it be? Who is more deserving of it than Tank Davis, who was a 3-division champion and does hold the title right now? I don't feel like Ryan Garcia, who was out on the sidelines refusing to fight because he said he was sick in the head. I don't see him earning a shot over Tank Davis. Lomachenko's been out of action for a while. I don't see him earning the spot over Tank Davis. Okay. Tiafimo's 140 now. But at the same time, at least if they did become his mandatory, they are worthy opponents. The thing with Ryan Garcia is when he was Devin Haney's mandatory for his WBC, he turned the fight down. So I don't see the point in making him mandatory. I feel like with Ryan, he needs to be in a position where him and his team starts reaching out saying, hey, I want this fight with this person. Because it's like, him and his endorsements and things he has on going outside of boxing, I don't see him, he's talking and saying things, but like actually making the moves to fight Tank, to fight Devin. You turned the fight down. This is a fact. This is not an opinion. You turned the fight down to go fight Manny Pacquiao in an exhibition. And it never happened. You said you was going to fight Tiafimo. It never happened. You were supposed to fight Fortuna. It didn't happen. Then you disappeared. Then you came back. Then you finally fought Fortuna, who was a guy that everybody thought this was a 50-50 fight. And I'm saying, man, watching this guy, I remember what I said. I'm like, nah, man, he's too open to get hit with shots. He throws wide punches. He doesn't have enough. And he's too, like, Ryan should go through this guy. And we saw what happened. So everybody was looking at what Fortuna did in the past. And I feel like even if, let's say he wasn't at his best, I think even at best, okay, I think Ryan still would have beat him. But I feel like at one point he was more of a threat than he was by the time he fought Ryan. He might have been a little sharp. He's a little sharper, a little bit better. But overall, I think Ryan still beats him. But when you are amongst the top guys, the fight should happen regardless of who you think is going to win, which I emphasize that all the time. So just looking at the situation, I feel like if people are saying that Tank is not, even like because of his promotional team, like they're saying, oh, nah, we want to keep it in-house. And you know what? Then make Tank the fucking mandatory for Devin Haney's title. Now, what excuse would Tank have for not taking the fight? So these fights, because Devin Haney is like, after I'm finished with Kambosos, like, stop talking, let's make the fight happen. That's what I love about Devin Haney's his mentality, man. He's about the fights. People can talk all the shit, trash they want about he's boring, he can't knock nobody out, blah, blah, blah. But it's funny because he is the undisputed champion. But yet, it's always, they're looking for the next person to say is better. But those guys don't want to fight Devin. Clearly, they don't want to fight Devin Haney. So the way to avoid the fight is by trying to belittle him, saying he's boring, nobody cares about him. He has something that y'all should want. But now all of a sudden belts don't mean anything, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I get y'all. Y'all don't want to fight him. You're scared. So, and it has to be fear of losing for the simple fact that if a guy is undisputed and I'm in the same division as this guy, and in my mind, in my heart, in my eyes, I feel like this guy's boring. He can't knock nobody out. I'll smoke him. Okay, he's just holding these titles hostage then. That means somebody should go and take those belts off of him. Why not me? That's how all these fighters should be thinking. So excuses to not make a fight happen. Um, and because of Tank's, his small stature and height and his little short arms, I guess people feel like, yeah, he's too small. They all, yeah, remember, Romero was saying the same thing. But when his fucking fist touched their chins, it's like, oh shit, he got a big punch though. So the false confidence of how big you are to somebody, or how hard you hit, or you think you're faster, or whatever it may be, how you put it all together in the ring is what it's going to come down to. What I would like to see Rolly Romero prove himself. Not get knocked out and try to, brainwash people with, he just caught me with a good shit. Yeah, we know, we saw. It was a great shot and you got knocked out. And that's all needed to happen. It's part of the fight game. You lost the fight. So anyway, let me know what y'all think in the comment section. How do y'all see a fight playing out with Pitbull Cruz and Rolly Romero? Do y'all think Rolly Romero has what it takes to defeat a Pitbull Cruz? Whether by decision or knockout. That's what I want to see. And I think that will be a good fight. More so for Romero. I can say for both of them, but Cruz is in a better position right now. And I don't feel like he wants to fight Rolly, not because he's afraid, but more like that's a step backwards. It is for him. But we know that he's not going to get Devin Haney. Not right now anyway. Tank Davis already beat him. And I mean, if Tank just took this fight, it would just be for the thrill of competition. Because he really has nothing to gain by beating him again, to be honest with you. And of course, they were in a pro-Mexican crowd in LA. So don't mistake the cheers for like, oh, everybody thinks Pitbull to beat him in a rematch. It doesn't matter what people think anyway. This is in front of, if you from New Jersey and you performing in New Jersey, yeah, you're going to get the cheers because you're from New Jersey. You're the hometown guy. Simple. But yeah, I like Pitbull Cruz as a fighter, man. But I know that him beating Romero, I mean, it's not like him beating Romero is going to put him at the top of the food chain because he beats Romero. But in a way, it will, in the sense of notoriety, because Romero got a big mouth and people know him more for that than what he does in the ring. So at the end of the day, it's more like, since Rolly keeps talking, like Rolly has something to say about everybody else. Like he's telling Ryan, fuck that. Only fight Tank at 140. Fuck 135. But you're still at 135. Right? You want the rematch. You yourself is not telling Tank, let's rematch, but only at 140. You're still at 135. So yeah, you're talking about you and Ryan and TFMO all going up to 140. But what weight class are you campaigning at right now? And why would you care what weight Ryan fights Tank at? So pretty much I just want to see that fight, because not so much for Pitbull Cruz, but to see where Rolly stands. Because for everything that he says, and he talks about like it's so easy to walk through Pitbull Cruz, I would like to see Cruz versus Garcia. Ryan Garcia says the same stuff. So it's not about telling us what you can do. Show us in the ring. Anyway, let me know what y'all think. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings you out of people, and I will catch y'all on the next video.